Hi everyone, thank you so much for coming back to my channel today. I've decided I want to make a video about my experiences with homeschooling versus public schooling. So I was homeschooled up until 7th grade, and during those years I liked it. My grandmother started off being my teacher. I don't remember exactly when because I was so young, but I imagine preschool, kindergarten, those kind of years. She was my homeschooler because she lived right next door to us. It was super convenient, and she was good at it. She had homeschooled most of her own children. And, I have little just awesome memories like learning the ABCs with her and learning how to write my letters the right way and stuff with her, and it was fine. At one point or another, I have no idea the reason, we transferred to my mother being my sister and I's homeschooler instead. Now, I don't know about you guys, but being a teacher is hard, right? It's really, really hard. Even with a degree, even with all the resources you need, it's not an easy job. So to try to teach all subjects at home without kind of a syllabus put on you and stuff like that, it's really way extra hard. And for mothers who do it and are successful at it, you are amazing. Okay, I'm not saying it's impossible. That is amazing. But I will say it's really hard, and honestly, my mother wasn't great at it, and that's okay, because it's not for everybody. But I will say, I was falling behind in those probably 3rd, 4th, 5th grade years that I was at home. Homeschooling was always kind of on the back burner, I guess. Like, we'd do classes sometimes, and we always did really easy stuff, and I liked it, and I think it kind of bred a sense of laziness in me as a kid, where I was just like, school's easy, we don't always have to do it, we sleep in. Before we went to 5th grade, my twin sister decided that she wanted to go to public school. So she did. Mom allowed her, said she could go to public school, and I was like, no way, like, that's scary, like, you've seen all the movies and TV shows where, kids are getting bullied and it's terrible. And my mom kind of told me, like, you wouldn't like it. You're going to have to sit in class for 45 minutes at a time. You're going to have to go to, like, 8 different classes, all this stuff. And I was like, nope, I don't want to do it. So our 5th grade year, I remained homeschooled, and my twin sister became publicly schooled. And we learned really quick that we were really far behind. I know she had her own struggles in 5th grade. It was just weird because she went into that school with the expectation that she had the same foundations as all of her classmates, but she didn't. And of course, it's not her fault. She honestly just should have gone to public school sooner, and so should I have. I really should have. But she just didn't know a lot of the things that were kind of common sense to the kids around her, And it set her back a little bit, and it made things hard for her. Not to say that she wasn't successful or incredibly intelligent, she was. And by the time she was in high school, she was an A and B student. She was incredible. In that kind of 5th and 6th grade years, occasionally my mom would take my sister's, her homework, or whatever it is she was working on in public school, and would try to bring it into our homeschool setting. And I hated it. It was hard. I didn't understand the math. I hated how much work it was. And I kind of, like, whined my way out of having to do it. I would just complain and bicker and then wouldn't really have to do it. So I just kept kind of falling behind as my sister was playing this crazy catch-up game and was getting better at school and stuff like that. I wasn't. I hated it. But finally, 7th grade rolled around, and I don't remember if my mom talked me into it, or if I just decided, or if it was kind of a combination of both. I know I wanted to go, though, so I know she didn't make me, but 7th grade rolled around, and I decided to join my sister in public school. When I was getting ready to start public school, I was really scared. Again, I had seen all of those TV shows and movies depicting all this bullying and mean kids, and not to say that any of that doesn't exist, but I just thought it was going to be way, way, way worse than it turned out to be for me. And I think a big part of the reason that is because I went to a really small school. I graduated with like 50 some kids. I went to a really small school. So I don't know, I didn't really experience any of that, thankfully, but I was really scared that I was going to. And I know a couple times my mom had told me, you're going to have to sit in a class for 45 minutes at a time. You're going to have to go to up to 8 classes a day. Like, I don't know if you're going to like it. I don't know if it's going to be good for you. And I was really, really scared. So when I initially started going to public school in 7th grade, I only did a half day. So at lunchtime, my mom would come pick me up and I'd go back home. And I don't think we really did any extra work at home. I think I was honestly just doing those half days. And while I was there, it was hard. It was kind of the same thing with my sister, where I was expected to have this foundation that I just didn't. I knew just enough to get by. And with what I was learning and soaking in, I could get by. And I did okay. I didn't have the greatest grades. Really, I didn't. But as time went on, I was getting better at it. I was getting the hang of it. And then I started doing full days. And I remember my first day doing a full day of public school. I went through my morning like normal. I had lunch with my sister and our friends. And then I went to science class. It was the first class after lunch. And I walked in, and this girl, and she was super, super sweet. She was just trying to help. But she comes up to me and she's like, "Rachel, this isn't your class." And I was like, "Yeah, it is. It's on my schedule." And she goes, "No, this isn't your class. Like, you've never been here." I don't know how far into the school year we were, but it was significant. She's like, "This isn't your class. You're not supposed to be here." And I was like, "Yes, it is. Like, I was doing half days. Now I'm doing full days." And she obviously didn't understand it. She's like, "Why would you only do half days?" But again, she was super sweet, so she didn't pick on me about it. But I just remember kind of feeling like, come on, I'm already freaked out, Like, I trying to pretend like I know what I'm doing, so don't call me out. But anyway, yeah, it was hard. And 8th grade, I did better, still kind of iffy grades. They were getting better, but I found out that I really loved English. I really loved writing and stuff like that. I was getting better at it. Math was still hard, but again, I was getting better at that. And then high school rolled around, and I feel like it just clicked for me. And I kind of realized that with some effort and some studying and extra stuff like that on my own time, I could get really good grades. And I did. In high school, I got great grades, and my sister did too. So I guess the moral of what I'm trying to get at here is, of course, there's nothing wrong with homeschooling your kids. And like I said, I can't say it enough. For the moms out there, or the dads, the parents out there, who can homeschool their kids successfully with that extra resources we have online and stuff, that is amazing. And I'm not trying to say anything negative of my mother. Obviously, I love her, but it just wasn't for her, and that's fine. It's not for everybody. She wasn't that great at it, and I kind of paid the price for it a little bit. I think my sister did too. You hear that stereotype that a lot of homeschooled kids don't have the same social skills that other kids have, and that was very true. She was more shy than me, but we were both kind of awkward, kind of outcasts, kind of, I don't know, we just kind of hung out on the sidelines, She was a lot more athletically involved than I was. I did a couple sports in junior high, but by the time I hit high school, I was like, no, I don't want to be at this place until 6 o'clock at night. So I didn't do sports in high school. I did martial arts and stuff like that, and I still do martial arts actually, but I don't do them with my school, obviously. I'm graduated now, but I want to talk about some of the struggles I had in high school. So I'm dyslexic. I knew that going into high school. It runs in my family. My parents were kind of worried about me because, at least when I was homeschooled and stuff, it was pretty evident that I had it. But it makes it harder to read sometimes, spell and write. It makes math really hard just because, it's hard to explain. We flip numbers so they seem like they're backwards. And same thing with letters and little things like that. But I don't know. I'm just really lucky. Maybe it wasn't that bad. I definitely think I have it. But I just kind of overcame it, I fell in love with writing, and I wrote all the time. I wrote a lot in junior high, and I don't know, I just got better at it. But that was definitely something I struggled with. I still, for the life of me, cannot read cursive. The fancier it is, the harder it is for me to read it. I don't know what it is. I know I didn't work on cursive a whole lot with my mom, but that's because, like, right away I hated it. And to me, it honestly just looks like one big squiggly line. Like, I don't know, I just can't read it. So that was definitely a struggle. Another thing I struggled with, if you watched my claustrophobia video, you'll know that I'm claustrophobic and that there was a time I didn't know that I am claustrophobic. So in high school and in junior high, the majority of that time, I didn't know I was claustrophobic. So when I was surrounded by kids and we were crammed in next to each other at our lockers and stuff, and I was really uncomfortable and irritable and angry and short-tempered, I didn't know why. You know, that's kind of where, like I explained in that video, I developed this kind of negative opinion of myself because I was just angry all the time. And I was like, I don't know why I'm like this. You know, I'm just irritated with the people around me a lot. So again, a little piece of, like, I don't want to call it advice because, again, this is all my opinion. But in my opinion, I think everyone should go to public school at some point in their life, in the majority of circumstances, whether that's high school or college. But I'll also say that the longer you wait, the harder it's going to be. Like, for example, my aunt was homeschooled and basically schooled herself all the way through high school and got her GED, and then went to college. So that was her first step into public school, and she was, I mean, I don't want to put words in her mouth, but she has told me she was very scared. So I think everyone should do public schooling at some point in their life in most cases. And if they're not, you know, going out there and doing those extra things, those extra events to get those social skills and get that good foundation that, you know, that our school system is in place for. We have our school system for a reason, to give all these kids at the same age the same kind of base knowledge to take into life, you know. And obviously there are a lot more resources today online than there were just a few years ago, you know. And you definitely utilize those. If you want to homeschool your kids, it's amazing. And it's not easy, so I applaud you. Go for it. But thank you so much for making it to the end of this video with me. Again, this is kind of a long one. I'm sorry. I guess I like to talk a lot. If you have not already, please hit that subscribe button. If you've not seen the other videos I mentioned in this video, I will try to link them below. Go check them out as well. It really helps me out a lot. Also, hit that comment section. Let me know your opinions. Do you homeschool your kids? Have you thought about it? Were you homeschooled? Were you public schooled? Let me know what it was like for you, and let me see if we can relate about anything, you know? Also, before you go, please hit that like button. Let me know that you enjoyed this video. Let me know that you made it to the end. I appreciate it so much. It really helps me out. As you guys know, this channel's brand new. It's a baby. Nobody knows about it, so I'm trying to get the word out. So if you could tell your buddy, tell your friend, tell your mom, tell everybody to maybe check out this girl's weird channel, that would be fantastic. So thank you so much again. See you next time.